change. Well, in these uncertain economic times, sound financial advice couldn't be more important.
Yeah, I second that. Each Thursday, we're going to be joined live by Steve Peasley, registered investment advisor and president of KPP Financial in Dana Point. Welcome, Steve. Love it when you come here.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me again.
I try to save the money, like everybody else.
Good for you.
Save in the U.S.? Nobody
Good
saves.
for you.
No
one
not
saves.
possible.
We're
Okay.
a spending company.
We are spending. And speaking of spending, hard times for a lot of people. It seems like no one is safe from foreclosure right now. Recent news, Ed McMahon is facing foreclosure. I think it's in his Beverly
Hills Homes, yes. He's $600,000 in arrears.
It's real. It seems like no one can get out of it.
Well, foreclosure rate is around 2%. Delinquency rate is around 6%. Delinquency means they're behind in the mortgage.
Now, one payment or two payments, and you get
One
that?
payment.
One
So
payment.
you're off one payment. You're delinquent right
You're
away.
delinquent. You'll
Okay.
get a letter from your bank.
Okay.
No,
Do
before-
not ignore the letter. You cannot ignore that letter.
That's always the first piece of advice. Start the communication. Even if you're going to have to give them an answer you don't want to
Yeah.
give them. I don't
That's
have
right.
it right now. If you start the communication, they're less likely to push the process more quickly.
Exactly. Banks do not want to foreclose on your house. That's the worst. That costs the bank a lot of money.
Okay.
What they want to do is work out something. You just have to communicate what your problems are. If they've lost a job or a sickness, they have different things they can do to help you out.
Now,
Or you just
just real quick, McMahon's problems actually started with his property taxes.
That's right.
And that's worse?
yeah, you will never, ever, ever get out of property taxes. You
Right.
will owe that.
Okay. So in that case, the county moves on.
That's right. That's different than the bank foreclosing on you. The bank will work with you. They will.
Okay, now some people, their incomes have really gone down appreciably. So if you miss 2 or 3 mortgage payments.
Then you're in big trouble because you'll never be able to make it up. But they have counselors. You can get help for this. If you don't know what to do, you can. The Housing and Urban Development Department has counselors that you can call. There's numbers that they have, that 800 number. I think we're going to put it up on the screen here in a little bit. And it will help you. Now, the foreclosure rate here in California, everybody talks about how bad it is because we have they talk about the raw number, the big number. We're number 2, by the way.
Yeah,
I think we have
let's
a
get those
stat.
figures up.
We do have a stat. You see, Florida's number 1 with 200,000. California is number 2 with 200. But look at the rate, the per house rate. We're half of a couple other states that are much worse than ours. That's because we have so many houses.
Right.
So we're not as bad as the news might want to lead you to believe.
Well, it says to me that there was, in the boom, 2002, 2005, less speculation and people buying homes that were not owner-occupied here than they were in Florida and
That's
Arizona.
right.
They're more likely to say, here's the keys.
And you know, I really don't want to end this segment on bad news.
Sure.
There is some good news. Sales last month for houses were up over 20% here in California.
Wow.
Sales were up 20%.
People have finally lowered prices and mortgage rates are still reasonable. We have
All
a
right, Steve,
question.
I have a question for you. Actually, one of our viewers emailed us and wanted me to ask you this question. Jim Reimer says, my daughter's 30 years old, and she wants to know what % of her paycheck would you recommend that she puts in her 401k plan? She has no outstanding debt, does pay rent for an apartment, no mortgage, car payment, charge cards. How much should she put in?
Man, no charge cards?
Lucky.
No debt?
Yeah, no debt. I love that girl.
Living in Southern California?
That's what, if she's single, for all those guys out there, she should put about 10%. If she's young, 10% would be perfect if she could do that, and especially if your employer matches some of that.
Sure, and on a 401k, that's usually about the max, right?
That's
that you
right.
Put in. Okay. Steve Peasley, every week, great financial advice he's the president of KPP Financial. They're based in Dana Point. Check out his website. It's at InvestTalk.com. Steve will be back next Thursday. And if you have a question for him, email it to us. The address is news@kdoc.tv. As we say in these times, good financial advice couldn't be more valuable. Steve, thank you as always.
Thank you for
having
being
me.
here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It is 6:41.